Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear me nice and clearly. We ran into some audio troubles there that first week back 2 weeks ago, so hopefully we've got that all sorted out, and you can hear me clearly this morning. Thank you. We are about to begin our second webinar week here today, talking about online marketing for mining companies, and specifically LinkedIn company pages. So we'll get started here in just a few minutes. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Sydney Hoffman. Sydney is our web designer here at Stock Marketing. She will be moderating today's webinar, and she will be here to answer any questions that you may have at 10:15. It's great each week. We seem to keep these to 15 minutes, which seems to be a nice, easy time frame for busy people. And then we are here as long as you need us following to answer any questions regarding LinkedIn company pages today or anything at all regarding online marketing or anything that we specialize in. So thank you for joining us today. And most importantly, thank you for the feedback. We've got a lot of emails over the last 2 weeks. We've been grateful to answer questions. And of course, whether you become clients of stock marketing or not, it's always nice to talk to other industry professionals and help solve any issues you may be having regarding your marketing for investors, website issues, social media, and lots of great things. So we are here to answer any questions. It was nice to have some people last week with us from Vietnam. It's nice to see Kevin with us from the UK as well today. So thank you everybody for joining us. We are grateful for this. And again, we have a few more weeks to go. So thanks for joining us and let's get started today. So my name is Scott Briard. I've had the pleasure of being the CEO of Stock Marketing, kind of a perfect blend of my 22 years of online marketing now. Former director of a mining company, so I'm certainly well-versed on compliance, marketing content, and exactly what public companies really need to do to attract investors. So let's look back. These are some of the stats we may have looked at over last week as well. We've been reviewing with you some of these numbers on how to grow an investor base. And we know that potential shareholders are online. Since the pandemic, online use has grown significantly. More than 6 hours a day for the average adult is now in front of a screen, whether it's their mobile phone or their desktop. We know social media is booming, which is why we're jumping in today to LinkedIn. An hour and 46 minutes per user a day on social media platforms. And let's compare it for a second. Think about it in relation to television. We sit down in front of a television, sort of the mindset that sometimes people have, I guess, in social media. You zone out, you get involved in something, whether it's Facebook or whether it's CSI Las Vegas. Television, you're there. You're there for a half hour, you're there for 1 hour, and you're on that channel. You're taking the commercials that are brought to you, but you don't usually leave that channel for the half hour, hour. And it's completely different when you think about websites and your time online and social media. People are continually and constantly changing the page they're on, or they're scrolling through those social media platforms, absorbing more information than ever before, which is why it's so important for public companies to take advantage of these tools of websites and social media to attract investors. When we are online, we are there, we are moving, we're transitioning from website to website, from social media page to social media page. And it's never been more important for public companies to utilize these tools and capture the attention of shareholders. So the numbers are there. We know people are online. Events are not happening, even with the pandemic winding down. We hope events are not happening the way it did for investors, and we know that people are there in front of their screens. There's never been a more important time for public companies to take advantage of this. So why LinkedIn? Why are we starting with LinkedIn company pages sort of for our second webinar here, and not things like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, which, although important, and we certainly, provide those services here at Stock Marketing, we're starting with this because LinkedIn is really the world's business platform. You visit other platforms in your downtime and you scroll Facebook to, see friends' recent trips or, photos from, those on a great boat somewhere. You go to Instagram to look at pictures of food or things that you have interest in. And Twitter is really where you can capture news the second it happens because, someone posts a photo of that car on fire or, issues happening somewhere in the world. And it's funny, they always say, Facebook is where we find friends that we went to high school with, and Instagram and Twitter, the people we wish we went to high school with. But there's never been anything like LinkedIn. And I firmly believe, and I will stand by this, LinkedIn will outlast Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. LinkedIn is it. It's our Rolodex of the future as far as I'm concerned. We use these other platforms. We want to take a break from work and our responsibilities. But LinkedIn is where you're going to go to know what other industry professionals are doing. It's where more than 15 million jobs today are listed online inside LinkedIn. And it's a place we go when we want to focus on work and money. And it's a perfect place to capture the attention of potential investors. Hundreds of millions of successful people are using LinkedIn each day. Right now, I think the number is 760 million users online, 200 countries. Here in North America, 37% of adults are there listed on LinkedIn with personal profiles. We know this is where potential investors are. And there's a reason why Microsoft bought LinkedIn for $26 billion. They know it's going to last forever. And the company itself right now, it's doing $8 billion a year in revenue. It's big, and it's certainly where investors are sitting each day. So what can we do as a mining company on LinkedIn to capture shareholders? Well, first you need to complete your profile. And if you do a search in LinkedIn on their little search bar, hopefully your company pops up. And it will pop up if anybody from your company has added to their personal profile that they work there, that they're a staff member, they're a board member, they're executive. If they've added the company in their personal profile, LinkedIn would have created a company profile. Now, it doesn't mean it's complete. It doesn't mean it has any information in it. It's just out there existing. And somebody needs to take control and become an admin of it. So if you have an email address with your company name in it, if you're at idahochampion.com or whatever these, email addresses could be for your company, if you have that, then LinkedIn will grant you admin access. Make sure if you're a staff member of a company that your CEO or your president or whoever your boss is, make sure they've given you permission to go and get access to this. But if you're looking to complete the profile, which is necessary to do any posting or actually have any impact, make sure you get permission and make sure you go in and become an admin, and that way you have the ability to complete the page. So what do you need to do to complete the page? Well, you need firstly to get the company logo into the profile photo. Just like you would put your face in your personal profile, make sure you go find a great copy, high resolution of your company logo and add it there into the profile photo, we'll call it. Above that, a cover image. Make sure you go and get a photo, properly size it. And make sure it's consistent with your other branding. Have a look at the website that you have for your company. Have a look at your cover on your investor presentation. Make sure they're similar. You want to maintain consistent branding here at this point. And when you add the company name or you're editing what's currently there, make sure it's there and it's in full. Make sure you also get your stock symbols in there. It's important that people land on your page and they know that it's a potential investment opportunity, that you're on the TSX Venture or the CSE or the OTC or the NASDAQ. Make sure you add in there the stock exchange you're on. Make sure you add your stock symbols there as well. It's great for potential investors to get the ability to notice and see it right then and there. Underneath your employees section, make sure that all of your team members are there listed. And if they're not, if your executive's not there, your board's not there, your staff's not there, send them an email and say, hey, in your LinkedIn profile, make sure you add your position to this company. It will give more eyeballs, and we've got some solutions to growing your following there. But make sure all of your employees, all of your staff, your executive, your board members are all listed as employees. You can't do it. They need to do it through their personal profile and attach themselves to the company page. Also, make sure your bio's there for your company and keep it consistent, just like your logo and just like your cover image. Make sure the bio is consistent with what's on your website and what's in your investor presentation. You can also add the mailing address, contact details, and your website address there. And then finally, there's a chance to really keep everything consistent and run up search rankings with posting. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. But really, the secret sauce to having a LinkedIn company profile is posting. And we're going to get into some more details with that in a second. So content. And I guess the best way to sort of analyze this, and if you had an opportunity each day to put an ad in the Wall Street Journal and be visible to millions of people, you would do it. If it was free, there you could put a company ad. You're in the Wall Street Journal, you would do it. But you have just as much, or you have even more exposure to be posting each day to LinkedIn, and yet people don't do it. Maybe it's a mindset, I'm not sure, but post, and post often and consistently. We're going to give you some ideas here on what to post. and not post every few months or investors will lose interest. Remember, it's free to post. And if you're able to, post for free each day. Take the time and let's start telling the story of your mining company. So there in your company page is the admin ability, and there's the posting ability and the ideas of what to post. Well, obviously news releases are a key thing each and every day that they occur for your company. Make sure a link is there and hopefully a link back to your website and not Newsfile or Bloomberg or wherever your news release may exist. Make sure it's back to your website. You want to draw traffic back to your website from social platforms such as LinkedIn. So make sure the day of a news release that it's there posted to your LinkedIn profile, and make sure there's an image, whether it's an image from your website or a custom image you design regarding your news release. Make sure it's there and make sure it exists. Other great ideas, updated investor presentations. There's a way to link the PDF right there in a LinkedIn post and get that on your company page. You can have bios of your executive and board members, updated share structures, post about your property. Maybe you have multiple properties for your mining company. Make sure information and images, especially images. Social media is very visual. Make sure they're there as well. And speaking about visual, anytime your executive have an interview done by a third party, make sure to get a hold of the video, the YouTube link, or wherever it exists to be stored, and make sure it's there as a LinkedIn post for you as well. Another industry news, if gold price is booming and you happen to be in the gold sector, make sure you're carrying on any articles, not promoting other companies, but any articles regarding the sector or industry that are positive. Make sure to get them in there as well. Great ideas to post. And again, posting allows others to find it through their feed and begin following you. Others will share, others will like. It's kind of like peeling back an onion, layer after layer. You're going to grow your impressions, and that's really the key to social media. And keep an eye on things. You'll notice down below there'll be those that like, and there'll be also those that comment. Always reply to comments, especially if it's anything negative. Jump on it right away with, here's an email address of our investor relations contact. Reach out to them with any questions. But if people say, hey, great news release today, make sure you're there to reply with something positive and sort of engage with those. They want to know that they're being seen and being watched when they do comment on your content. Make sure you're there to reply. So rules of posting, most importantly, be compliant. You're not selling t-shirts on sale at the corner store. You can't shout, buy our stock now, stock price rising. Make sure you're compliant. Think about that. Anything that you wouldn't put in a news release, you certainly wouldn't put online for social media. So make sure what the content you're posting is compliant. Try and use images in all posts. It's sort of a rule of thumb that everybody knows. Images will stop people. They want to visually see something great. So make sure you're using images in all your posts. Hashtags relating to your company name, relating to your industry and sector. Make sure they're down below in every post because people do search by hashtags. Twitter made it famous. It's on LinkedIn and still an ability for people to hashtag gold, hashtag manganese, hashtag graphite, whatever industry or sector you're mining. Make sure to use those in hashtags as well. And always include your stock symbols in your hashtags. It's important for people to know your symbols so that they can head off and go and find more information. Now, tip number one of today's webinar, make sure other team members are liking and sharing the company posts. Everybody within the company, make sure they know that this exists. You've posted today. Hopefully they're following. As an employee, they will see the post go by their news feed, and make sure they're liking and sharing as well. That will also greatly increase your exposure. So sort of step number 3 to building a following of investors using a LinkedIn company page. Kind of a real tip that we know and not many people do. But as an admin, you can invite your connections to follow the page. So let me sort of deep dive into this because it's unique. Not a lot of people know it exists, but it's exactly why company pages get in hundreds, if not thousands of followers. So as an admin, when you're on your LinkedIn company page in the top right-hand corner, you'll have the ability to click something called admin tools, and you'll see it there, and it's pretty prevalent. And by clicking that, the first drop down says invite connections. So as you're logged in as the admin, all of your connections on LinkedIn pop up. And think about who it is you're connected to. Other industry professionals, potential investors that you've met over the years, former coworkers. All these are potential investors into your public company. In each and every month, you can click off 100 people to invite. A mail will go out, email will go out from LinkedIn directly to the person, inviting them. It's not spam. It's not anything illegal. It's done daily through LinkedIn. We're all asked, almost daily to either connect with a person or like the LinkedIn company page and follow them. It's something you can do, and it's kind of a secret tactic that a lot of companies do in order to access potential followers who may be buying their product or service, and for you as a public company to attract investors. So have a look the next time you're logged in, have a look at the admin tools, and then see invite connections, and have a look at your entire list of connections. Choose 100 every month and make sure you go back every month. It changes over in the first of every month to allow you access again, and invite 100 people over. Now, the real secret to growing the following, make sure your CEO, your CFO, your president, your chairman, anybody in a vice president position, make sure they're admins of your LinkedIn company page, and make sure they do this as well. You may have to walk them through these steps, but imagine if everybody can invite 100 potential investors to follow the company on LinkedIn each and every month. Imagine how fast your following grows. Imagine how fast your shareholder base grows. So huge tip for us, something we do for all of our clients. Log in each month, take a look at your potential connections, and grow your following this way. So that's it for this week. I seem to almost stay on our 15-minute time limit to get through LinkedIn company pages. We think it's key. That's why I spoke about it first before other social media platforms. Huge fan of LinkedIn. Again, I firmly believe that this will outlast and withstand other social platforms. We know the platforms come and go. I think Clubhouse is almost obsolete at this point. MySpace is gone. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are there and still popular, but others pop up and they're fun social platforms. LinkedIn being so important for business, LinkedIn will be here forever. And it's time that your public company takes notice. Finish your profile, get in there, make sure your employees are all attached, get in there and post. And again, invite your connections each and every month and grow your following. It's key, and definitely something that we've seen 5 years in business now as the ability to grow a LinkedIn following for a company. So as always, we are here to answer any questions. The chat is wide open on the side. Sydney's with me answering anything that you may need. We love what we do. We've been grateful to be in this industry, to meet such great people in the mining space. Hopefully PDAC is back in March, but without events and without investor roadshows and all these great things, we know online marketing right now is the key for public companies to access investors. And we will be here for another 4 weeks following today on Tuesday mornings. Next week, we're going to talk about LinkedIn executive branding, your personal profile, how important it is to attract investors to your company. Following that, we will get in on November 30th to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. December 7th, we're going to talk about YouTube and podcast channels. Audio is booming to build a following. Big fan right now of Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. And then we'll follow up with email distribution and web notifications, 2 other great ways to access investors and to keep them interested in your company. We have on the right-hand side, Glayton's from Vancouver, Canada. Matthew, we've chatted a bit over the last week. I guess we've got a meeting this week from Vietnam. Thank you, everyone. We greatly appreciate you attending. And any questions, certainly just post anything on the side. If you've had issues with LinkedIn, if you have questions about building your company page, what you need to do to grow your following, Sydney and I will be here for the next few minutes to answer anything you may have. Pat, always great to have you with us. Pat Bolland, our video specialist, our interviewer extraordinaire. Thanks, Pat, for joining us each and every week. We're grateful to have you here. Well, Sydney, there's nothing further. I don't see any questions popping on the right. Thank you, everyone. We greatly appreciate your time. Obviously, it's the most important thing. And we look forward to seeing you next week. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will save this video. It's always available at stockmarketing.ca/Scott. All the videos are there from each week. So if you need to go back and follow through the steps of how to build your LinkedIn company page, certainly make your way there later today, and we'll have the video online. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Matthew. We greatly appreciate your time.